Welcome ghosts back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This video is going to be all about how to improve AI teammates in the next game. Joining me is Sandylands, and we will discuss these ideas together at the end. We've put this together, and what we want you to do, if you can, is let us know what you think. Is this what you want from your AI teammates? Or do you want to see something different? Would you like to see, variations of what we're saying? Or are we off? Are we just not hit the mark? Let us know. So I think the first thing to start with is AI teammate squad size. I personally think that 8 players is the best all-round way to go. Being able to mix real-life friends with AI teammates, or being able to run your AI teammates maybe in 2 squads, 2 lots of 4, or 1 squad of 8. However, I'm not adverse to having 12 because that would be more realistic. But, I think more is better, and then the options to drop them down. So if you just want to run with 1 or 2, whatever, you get the choice, but you can have up to 12. I personally, I like this idea. AI voice commands, a bit like the old SOCOM days. If you've got a headset, you could press a button and tell them instead of, say, go here, go there, fall back, whatever, all that kind of stuff. I think it's an interesting idea. Some people might not like it. Let us know your thoughts on that. The main thing is, I think here is that we want to go kind of against what Ubisoft said about micromanaging your team. When that AI teammate update, they were like, don't worry, you don't have to. And obviously the community kind of slapped back and said, no, we want to, please. So I'm hoping going forward, micromanaging is actually the way that they'll go, because that's what we want. Hand signals. Now, obviously, you can use emotes in the game which have hand signals, but they don't actually do anything. So it would be nice if hand signals or emotes, whatever it is they decide to do, actually kind of work with your character. So you use the hand signal and your character does exactly what's told via that hand signal. I quite like the idea to the ability to switch characters. So you can jump from one to the other. So you can place them exactly where you want them to be. If you want a sniper up on the ridge, they'll be up on the ridge. If you want someone with you, they're with you, whatever. You can place them wherever you want. You could literally surround a base with all of your characters, if you like. Spread them all out, have them all with sniper rifles, whatever it is you want. I understand some people might not want that, but if you had it as an option that you can switch on and off, all the better. More actual options as well, I think, is where we need to go. There's only 4 options. It would be nice if they could give us at least kind of 12. The ability to, you want like stop and halt and move too. But, it'd be nice if you could specifically say stealth kill or melee kill. Or when you do hold position, you can do hold position with like a weapon status, for example. So hold position, but you can still fire. Hold position but don't fire, things like that. And you could add that to the regroup, but it would be nice. Obviously, really good one here would be to order them to stack up and then order them to breach and clear rooms. I think that's hugely important, and I think the community want that. The ability to do it in the game with your friends, and obviously you also want to be able to recreate that with your AI teammates. But weapons hot, all those kind of things are important. You want to also be able to individually command your AI teammates. I don't like saying go there and they go there as a group. It's very frustrating. They're in the background. I'm playing some AI teammate footage. I haven't actually used my AI teammates for about a year. So if you're like, oh my God, this footage is terrible, it's not the best. I'm not going to lie. But I'm just trying to kind of get used to using them again. I'm just not used to it. So apologies if the footage is terrible. AI teammates being able to run out of ammo, that's a perfectly good idea. That needs to be there. Switching to secondary weapons when they're out on their primary ammo. If they're carrying a secondary, obviously you should be able to make sure that you select the amount of weapons that they are carrying. So if you only want them to carry 1 like yourself, they should be able to. Also go into your secondary when your primary or whatever. So like you're going to your pistol. I think that's a really good idea when you're running out of everything else. Make sure they do use that pistol. Also you should be able to put whatever on and give one a grenade launcher. Don't restrict them to what they can have or anything like that. Give them everything that you can have. Being able to pick up enemy weapons, yeah, I think that's a good idea. How you would do that, not quite sure. You might be that that's an option, so you could turn it on and off. So either they run out of ammo until they get some more, or you could switch the option that your AI teammates will pick up an enemy weapon if they run out. But then get them to be able to sort your wounds out, bandage you, things like that. Or if you're running low on certain things, they can then top you up with them. You can use them on yourselves. I think friendly fire is really important. We want blue on blue for people who want realism. Once again, have options to turn them on and off, so it's entirely up to you. Critical wounds, things like that. I think that one's an important one. And I think it kind of goes, if you're talking about critical wounds, you really can make the AI teammates more important than they currently are. First of all, you need a backstory for your AI teammates. That would be nice. We've been lacking that from Breakpoint. But more importantly than that, if you think about certain games, I always think of, say, the original Modern Warfare 2. When you were playing that game, you cared about those characters. And like when Ghost was killed and Roach and stuff like that, you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I've lost them. And I know you couldn't control them or anything, but you should have that with your AI teammates. So we should have options in there, and it needs to have options for this to work. So you could set it. So for example, if you're playing a mission and two of your AI teammates, if you're running, let's say 3 extras, so there's 4 of you, and 2 of them are killed, they are dead. And you've got to do that mission with just 1 left. And when you get to the end of that mission, your option could be that those 2 then come back again. But you should also be able to have further options, which will say, that you don't have them for the rest of your play session. So if you play for 4 hours, they're dead for your 4 hours. And it's not till you turn your game back on again that they're back. Or you could do it a different way. If you had a team of 12, even if you couldn't take 12, you would have to go back to whatever the equivalent of Erewhon might be, or your safe space, and get 2 different guys to come with you. I really think it makes them more than just AI teammates. I think it makes them, you have a relationship almost with these characters. I think there's definitely something more to discuss here. Let us know what you think about any of these options. They should be able to, obviously, on the battlefield as well, when they're treating you, I think they should be able to drag you behind cover before they treat you, not out in the middle of a gunfight. But I really like that idea of either choosing between different teammates you can take with you, teammates dying. You could even set it so teammates are dead for a month or whatever. I think give us more options so we can decide. A bit like SOCOM, used to have, when your teammate was dead, he was dead. And I think people have got used to this style of gameplay now, with Rainbow Six Siege and others where, you die, and they're out. I know that that's not AI teammates, but I think people are getting more used to that style of gameplay. I think teammates should be able to use explosives from your inventory, so take things from you, and also you should be able to take things from them. You could load out every single one differently, and then take something from them. It's a way for you not to have to carry it. I think we definitely need to fix the AI teammates walking out in the open. That's much more to do with the coding of the game, and how they're doing this. The AI needs work. We know the enemy AI needs work, but the teammate AI needs a lot of work. They do walk out in the open. It's very immersion breaking, especially when your enemies have clearly seen them but don't react. I don't like that. You should be able to, if you're stealthing around in a base, they should be stealthing around in a base. If you're crossing a road from one part of a base to another, and sometimes they just run out in the road, they get seen. No, they should be stealthing with you. That absolutely needs to be fixed, 100%. They should be able to get in vehicles and drive you to locations or fly you to locations. An AI pilot, perhaps, who doesn't go with you on the mission. We've talked about that before. That is an absolute must for me. The ability to obviously customize your teammates completely. Every option that you have, they should have too, 100%. And I think if you're going to have special abilities, anything like that, they should be able to be given any of those abilities. They should be able to be given binoculars, whatever night vision you're being given. We need them to be able to, if they're using lasers in night vision, you should be able to see their lasers. They should know when you're using yours, things like that. But, I mean, also if there's specialist classes or just classes, whatever, you should be able to give them those as well. Possible AI teammate progression system, which means I think if you give them a progression system, it will make more people use them. Add rewards to that progression system to unlock new things that can be used for AI teammates. It could be weapons, it could be anything, it could be specialized AI teammate camos that are only available by using AI teammates. Just like I said, to utilize people to use them more. I think that's an interesting one. And obviously the sync shots, I think sync shot needs work. I think it worked better in Breakpoint than Wildlands. But it still needs work. Sometimes they're still shooting through rocks and the sides of buildings to hit their targets, and I don't want that. It can be quite annoying, constant moving around to try and get the right locales. But yeah, I want to see that improved 100%. Also, AI teammates' tactical ability to kind of increase in harder difficulty settings. If you're playing it on easier, maybe they shouldn't be as good as if you're playing it on elite. Or you should be able to at least mess around, like with ghost settings that we've got now. Have an AI teammate setting for that, so you can specifically say, no, I want them to be like this. I want them to not be able to spot enemies as well. Pick out more options. I always say more options for everything. And even though some people might not think some of these things are not that important, I'd like to see my teammates' banter just be so much more improved. More back to Wildlands and before. Breakpoint, there was no real teammate banter. They didn't really swear, and you didn't know anything about them. And I think it just adds to this kind of team ethic that you have. More realistic military language we want to see them using as well. I think that one's really, really important. So yeah, that's pretty much it. These are our ideas that Sandy and I came up with. What do you want to see? Let us know below. Sandy, what are the main ones here that you think when I'm going through these, what ones interested you the most?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've came up with this together, so we think that everything here, it should be some type of priority. But for me, I think going back to that very first one on squad size, yourself and I've been doing a lot of work recently on, writing an idea. And because of that, I've done a lot of research. And a ghost team, as for what I can gather, a ghost team should actually be 12 characters. No, you should have the 12 characters. You could maybe split them into two teams of 6. Or, you should be able to turn them on and off as you need. And, you can maybe take characters as and when you need them for specific missions. I think that's a big one. I think it keeps better to the lore of the actual, to the ghosts themselves. I think that's a really big one. And then you've still got that whole team to fall back on. And then it comes back to if one of the characters get injured, you can still swap him out with one of the other 11, one of the other 10 characters. I definitely think they should be able to run out of ammo. It just seems crazy to me that, in the last 2 games, they just have an unlimited ammo source. They're just, in some aspects, are just as bad as drones. Things like that just making things feel more realistic to me is a big one for the IT mates. If they're going to give you if they're going to tell you where the enemy is, I want it to sound like what it would be in the military. Just saying, oh, enemy over there, that's useless. Enemy 100 metres to your left, reference a stack of tyres. That's what people in this community want. If each one of the 12 characters, for example, had their own specific trait, so let's say that one of them was a JTAC, and the JTAC gets killed, or he gets critically injured and you can't use him for the next 2 weeks. That means that they haven't then got that proper capability anymore to call an air support. So that takes your capability down until he comes back. I think that would make things really interesting. So each character, each AI teammate having their own specific thing.
Yeah, some really interesting points there. Makes complete sense. Anyway, let us know what you think. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. We'll look at those in future videos for feedback videos. But until the next one, thank you so much for watching. Take care from both of us, and bye bye.